indisputably hostile. Perez! Picked that one out. That is extraordinary. An occasion which brings its own unique atmosphere.
With anyone else in Europe, we shall soon find out if they're the very best in Europe. But Man United are truly enormous football club on the world stage with tremendous history. And how far they've been allowed to drift and drop off the pace, I think, was exposed tonight, yet again.
And the beauty is that there's no hiding place. There's no hiding place. At this level, you get found out. United, it's so sad watching this team. It really is. It's a long night.
We'll reflect more on this game from both perspectives over the next, nearly an hour. But where that leaves both sides in the table. Manchester United stay in 6th, miss out on the chance to go level on points with Tottenham, and they've now played a game more than Tottenham and actually dropped below Arsenal. And they have played 2 games more than Arsenal, who play tomorrow night at Stamford Bridge. Liverpool, meanwhile, are at the top of the Premier League table, but they've played a game more than Manchester City. They're 2 points ahead of them, and City play Brighton at the Etihad tomorrow night. Who's from 7 o'clock, and from 7:30 on Thursday it's Burnley, now without Sean Dyche of course, against Southampton. And 4-0 victory over Manchester United, and that's where that leaves United. Liverpool against Manchester United at Anfield. How dominant a performance it was. They scored their goals from 14 shots, 5 of which were on target. They had 36 touches in the Manchester United box, and they did it with 72% possession with an accuracy of 91%. For Manchester United, just a couple of shots, one of them was on target. It is the lowest number of shots, the lowest percentage possession, and the lowest XG that Manchester United have had all season. Takes them for now to the top of the Premier League table. Mo Salah with 2 goals, and he and Thiago Alcantara are with.
Guys, well played. Another extraordinary performance from a team that keeps producing them. Thiago, what was that like to be part of?
As we were joking like some seconds ago, when we have the top level strikers that we have in front, and we see when we saw the best striker more than winger, come on, he's scoring a lot of goals. When we have this attack 3 front or whoever comes in, when we saw not just how they score in offensive but in defensive situation, we just want to get involved as well and make the team perform and make a hard pressure as we made.
So 5 goals for you, Mo, against Manchester United this season, 9 for the team. Why do you think you've dominated this rivalry this season?
Well, I missed the last one. So, anyway, I think they make our life easier in the midfield and in the back. They always try to give us the ball just in a situation like one against one. So they make our life much easier. So I think when we defend, well, we had a clean sheet here, clean sheet there. So they make our life easier to score. We just go to the game and we want to score one goal. Once we get the first, we want to get the second. Once we get the second, we go for third. But I think it's a top performance from us here and away also. So we hopefully just carry on like this.
And I know you've not been worried and you have been looking sharp, but nice to see the goals go in again. Yeah,
I said before many times, like, I score many goals for this club. It's going to keep coming. Sometimes you had bad luck, but the most important thing is the team winning. That's the most important thing. I think if the team were not winning, I would not be happy, but team winning, everything's going to come. So I was not worried about that.
Thiago, you were the general out there. Have you best Anfield performance, would you say?
I don't know. I couldn't be the one who judged how my performance.
I was making faces here.
Yeah, they keep singing for him today. They were singing for him today.
I think it's one of the strongest performances the team did here at Anfield. The first half was unbelievable. Also, the second one, we were high level in 90 minutes. And
wait for the next one. You never played the derby here, so you wait for the next one. It's going to be much more fun than this.
Yeah, but at the end, is as Mo said, we are not worried about the goals are coming from Mo, because at the end we saw how he trained, we saw how all the strikers are training, so we are really happy with it and how we played.
That is working so well, isn't it, that front three, Mo? a goal and assist for all of you. I think Diogo comes on and creates one for you as well.
Yeah, I think the second one for him this season, both for me against United as well. I think we all play very well in front three. Like even when Bobby come in, also play very well. So we just try to adapt with each other in the training. We know each other more now, me and Sadio and Bobby, especially because we play for 5 years together.
Great ball from Sadio, wasn't it, for your first goal?
No one expected that, but yeah, great ball from Sadio. He's now playing number 9 more, but he's doing an unbelievable job as well. So I think everybody playing front, just playing good game. All the time, so which is the most important thing, the team winning game, so that's the most important thing.
Top now, how significant is that?
It's great. Let's wait until tomorrow, because City also is not an easy team to lose points, so we just need to focus on ourselves, and the rest is not in our hand. So the only thing we can focus on our games, and we'll see.
Thiago, you might not win all 4, but you're going to be incredibly hard to stop, aren't you, the way you're playing?
Why not? I think we're not thinking about winning 4. We are thinking about winning each game that we have, and now days to recover from this and thinking about Everton. We don't think in anything else.
Well done, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
They're just looking ahead to the derby, which is at Anfield on Sunday as part of Super Sunday, the Merseyside derby. For Liverpool, this win against Manchester United, and we'll talk about the challenge that Manchester United posed or not against them here at Anfield this evening. But how much of a statement is that, given that it's a derby in all but geography, really?
Yeah, for me, it's still the biggest game in English football. Rivalry is enormous. And I think Liverpool, when you're watching Liverpool tonight, especially in the first half, sensational. Their passing, their accuracy of passing, the tempo that they played with, the first time passes that stuck people in, got the first goal through that. Nice pass from Jordan Henderson. Very, very impressive. I mean, you have to counter that with it. Man U were not very good. You know, Thiago, Mo was asking him, was it your best ever game? Or was it Pat was asking the best ever game? I mean, he didn't have a lot to play against. You know, but I've mentioned before the game, centre midfield for Man United. No energy, no aggression in there. Was it 2 fouls Man United committed in the first 45 minutes? We would be in double figures, both of us, who had played in that game in the first half. I mean, it's a derby, it's the biggest derby. Show a bit of fire, United, make it a game. But they didn't. They made it a very easy night for Liverpool.
When they were asked about whether or not it was the best game, Thiago said, well, it really helps that we've got these great strikers who can score the goals. And when Salah was asked about it, he said, we've got great defenders. It makes it easy because we know that when we score, it's going to make a difference. Yeah. But that's important, isn't it? Obviously.
But Kelly, you're talking about a great team. What makes a great team? A great team for me is A, you can defend properly. You've got a real threat up front, and you've got workaholics in midfield. You're describing Liverpool. Liverpool have a goal threat from so many areas. You know, you can set your stall out. If you're playing Liverpool, right, let's stop Mo Salah. What do we do about Mane? Or what do we do about Jota or Diaz? They've got that threat from so many areas, and there was no surprises tonight for Man U. They knew exactly what Liverpool were going to do. They were going to come out the blocks, you know, like a greyhound. They were going to be all over you. They were going to try and steamroller you. At that moment in time, you have to stand up and be counted. You have to be able to keep the ball at that time. Because if you just defend and keep giving the ball straight back to Liverpool, it is only a matter of time. And that's how it turned out.
It's the most disappointing thing from a Manchester United perspective is that this is what was expected of them in this game. Gary said before the game he gave them a 1% chance of winning.
Yeah, and I thought Gary was being a bit ambitious with that. I really did. No, we do look back at the history and think Man United might turn up with the badge, and you're thinking of the quality they might have, but it's not there. So there's no surprise at the result, the scoreline. You know, you think over the 2 games, is it 9? They've not scored a goal against Liverpool. It's and I said earlier, it's not really anger anymore. It's just sadness where the club is at. I just think it's from the top. You look at the manager situation, you look at the recruitment over the last few years, they're so far off it. They're the opposite of what you'd want in a top team. There's no leadership there, there's no characters. When the going gets tough, they just crumble. Even the 2 goals in the second half, particularly the 4th goal, was just really such bad defending and just giving up a goal. No fight, determination. A long way back for this club. It really, it doesn't. It's like I'm watching it doesn't reflect on the Man United I played for. It's like a completely different club. There's no, whatever we had when I played, and there was always that bit of pride. I think it's gone out of the club now. I think from top, at board level with the Glaziers, chief executive decisions making over the last few years, the manager, temporary manager at the moment, 5 or 6 players playing there whose contracts will be leaving, and you're asking them to come to Anfield and put up a fight. It's not going to happen. So 4-0 is no surprise.
I think the direct comparison out of the big clubs, you've got Man United, who for the last decade have made very, very poor football decisions in keeping people, renewing contracts and recruitment. And opposite to that, the exact, we talk about the big clubs, the exact opposite to that is Liverpool. Liverpool in the last 10 years seem to have nearly everything right in terms of who they keep, when they sell a player. One piece of business which took them from being a good team to a great team was getting rid of Coutinho for 150, 60 million, whatever it was, getting Alisson and getting Van Dijk in and having a large chunk of change at the end of it. That's great football decisions. It's great business, but it's a great football decision. And Man United have been the exact opposite. For 10 years, they have consistently got it wrong who they bought and who they decide to keep. And that's the result tonight. A team that's looking like it's on the verge of true greatness to a team that... Good luck to the new manager. Where do you start with that lot?
One player who came in as a transfer to Manchester United and looked like he might have made a difference was Bruno Fernandes. He's now with Patrick Davison.
Well, Bruno, it's another horrible experience against Liverpool. How would you sum that up?
No, obviously it's a bad result once again. Not much that I can say. Obviously, I think apologise to the fans. It will never be enough. But obviously this is what we can do now.
The winners against Manchester United at Anfield, and as much has been said about Manchester United and their performance, there was a great performance from Liverpool as well.
Obviously, they're attacking players when they quicken things up, particularly for the goals, they're outstanding. And every time you watch Liverpool, they look like they can score at ease. They've got so much quality.
Quick goal as well.
Yeah, just when they quicken the play up again, United not getting tight. Look, there's too much space. Nice pass by Jurgen. No pressure, and he's got runners. And when you got the quality, and then can he produce Diaz after 4 or 5 minutes? You're hoping United have a quick start, but it's just quick play by Liverpool. Not fantastic. Jordan, quick pass. Maguire not getting tight enough. The space, the runners, and then you're asking, can he produce with the right ball? Beautiful. Diaz can't miss. 4 or 5 minutes. Already you're thinking long way back for United, but good quality from Liverpool.
Yeah, superb. I mean, it's a tap-in. You've got that quality. That is literally a tap-in. That's a free hit.
The second goal, I know you like it. 25 passes, 10 players involved in it, including Alisson. Van Dijk, the only one not to touch the ball.
Some smart, first-time passing. It's just football as you want it played. But the highlight is the ball from Mane coming up. Mane, this one here, look, it helps around. They've got Dallow's sleeping. And it's not an easy finish from Mo Salah because the ball's spinning all over the place, which we'll see in another angle. And we'll also hide Dallow, who's on his heels. He doesn't think there's any danger coming up here from him. He's on the right side there, he can get back, it's goal side. But naturally the ball goes in there, he knocks off. And Sadio Mane plays a great ball in. Just look. And this ball spinning, watch this ball spinning when Mo collects it. Still spinning. This is not easy, and then you still try to get it where you want it, with the ball spinning that much. A really top-notch goal, that, for me.
It is from Liverpool, but from United's point of view, you can have a lot of bodies back, a lot of defenders. If you do things quickly, at pace, with that quality, it's hard to stop.
And he went on to score a second, Mo Salah, which we'll see in a second. But in terms of getting that goal, having not scored in his previous 6, having not scored a non-penalty goal since February, how important... He played it down and said, I've been happy with my performances, but for him to get that goal...
He's the greatest player I've ever seen. He is. I mean, he's a great player, but I have to say he's the greatest player I've ever seen. And I always have this, when I watch him, not past when he should be, thinking of your father at that time. I mean, I'd have to be in there separating him because he's a truly great player. And we had the incident a couple of years ago with Mane where Mane was falling out because he wasn't passing him in. But him not scoring for 6 games, a minor blip. And we've seen that tonight.
And he's been getting chances, though, hasn't he? He's been getting loads of chances. I think it's just a matter of time. He's got so much quality.
What did you make of the third goal, Roy?
Well, disappointed with the last 2 goals, particularly. Okay, the pass is too straight. It's too straight for the pass. And there you got the runners, you got bodies going forward here, and it's just lovely ball into the right area. Mane again, no one getting near him. First touch finish, maybe comes off his heels a little bit.
But Lindelof, again, not a good pass, and yet Liverpool ready to pounce. Never quite recovered, no tackles. Lovely ball again, the right area. Kind of hits his heel, but lovely finish right in the corner.
I mean, he doesn't want to get any power on it. I mean, he's just letting the pace of the pass coming into him. He's guiding it, isn't he? Yeah, it does come off his heel, ankle a wee bit. Gets lucky, but the intent was there. That was what he tried to do, and he got a wee bit lucky with the connection he made, which was maybe slightly on his ankle.
Talking of connections, this challenge by Naby Keita, VAR looked at and decided it wasn't a red card. What do you think?
It's a red card all day. I think Keita's got very lucky there, and Liverpool got lucky. They wouldn't have affected the score, but this is a sending off. You know.
But it would have affected, he would have obviously had a suspension, which the club wouldn't have wanted, and the game is over here.
It doesn't affect this result.
But that's the frustration.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a red card.
That's naughty. He gets away with that.
Yeah.
And I think he does Sanchez does him a favour for getting up. And this is a goal. It's a sloppy pass from Maguire. It's behind Hannibal. But there's worse than this pass for me. I think Robertson nicks it. Watch this challenge up more. Short again from Dallo. I mean, you've lost the ball. You know you're in trouble. You're running back towards your own goal. This will get lucky with the finish.
Maguire, Graham.
This is bad enough, I know, but it's not the end of the world. He's got that. He gets just a bad first touch. Robertson makes it. This is what I'm all about. That there. You're racing back towards your own goal.
But Maguire then takes a gamble at the end. Maguire then gambles at the end.
Watch this. Watch this. I might chip my toenail here. I mean, and he picks him out, and he gets lucky with the finish. See, if you're on the pitch, I don't know if the game changed that much, but if I'm on the pitch with him doing that, even that late in the game, I'm after him. I'm telling him, you know. That's the word I've used.
The first two goals from Liverpool, excellent. The two goals that United have just given him up.
What do you mean by Maguire taking a gamble? What's he gambling on?
He's just trying to read it. He gives a shocking pass for an experienced player, and then you go, okay, let's get back in. And if you see that his last movement, he takes a gamble. He's guessing. So this pass here, United, the game's over. But you have to take your medicine. You know, you're 3-0 down. It's game over. You're at Anfield. We talked about pride before the game. Watch him here. What's he doing? He's just guessing. You can't guess. You've got to still protect the middle of your goals. He must know he's got runners. And he takes a gamble. He's just almost given up on it.
Coming up, we will hear what both managers made of that result, and we'll be Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher, who've made it over from the gantry to give us their thoughts on Liverpool's 4-0 victory against Manchester United. Liverpool 4-0 winners over Manchester United. Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville have joined us. Jamie, Liverpool back for now on top of the Premier League table. Mo Salah back to scoring form with 2 goals against Manchester United and a 4-0 victory in what is more or less a derby. Good night.
Very good night for Liverpool, and there's been a lot of good nights and days for Liverpool in the last sort of 2 or 3 months. That's why they're in the position they're in. The thing from a Liverpool point of view that gives me sort of real belief that this could be a really special season is the performances in the last 2 games. Now, you can look at the opposition. We'll talk about Manchester United, but even Manchester City at the weekend. Yeah, not at their full team out, but Liverpool for maybe the last sort of 8 to 10 games have been getting the job done. Great quality to have, but tonight it felt like the energy was back, and that sort of the zip in the passing, the pressing, and it was there against Manchester City at the weekend. And I think with Mo Salah coming back as well, it's not just the goals with Salah, it's that sharpness, the energy. That's what he'd been struggling with. It wasn't just goals, just hadn't looked himself in games. And if Liverpool can keep that between now and the end of the season, that gives me real belief that it could be a really special season, not just the results that they're getting.
Was energy the biggest difference between the sides, do you think?
Everything was the difference. Manchester United, a million miles away from that Liverpool team. Absolute million miles away in every department. There isn't anything that you can say Manchester United compete on with that Liverpool, on and off the pitch. It was a sobering evening. We expected it. I think every Manchester United fan expected it. Not one Manchester United fan came here tonight with any hope whatsoever. But you still try and build yourself up in that little sort of half an hour pre-kick-off. You're thinking, could something happen? But nothing. That team's got nothing.
Is that the most worrying thing? The fact that it's predictable now?
Yeah, it is predictable, and they have got. But actually, there's some decent players out on that pitch, and there's some talent. So I have no idea. I can't explain how it's gone from what would be sort of slightly promising at the end of last season, finishing second. I know they lost in the Europa League final, which was a bad one, to the point where we are today, which is an all-time low in my 42 years of watching United. I've never seen it as bad as that. I've never seen it. You know, you made a point before. Liverpool, when we were playing, weren't that great. But I don't think they ever gave us a game like that. It was always tough. It was always hard to beat Liverpool at Old Trafford and Anfield. There was once we beat you 4-0, but I think you got Hippier sent off in the first minute of the game, and there was it was an explanation behind it. I've never seen a Manchester United team wilt and be as flaky in a game of football or Liverpool in my 40 years.
You keep speaking about the ownership and the structure of the club. No, I'm talking about the last few weeks or months, or going back a long time. Now, my point on that is, yeah, if that's not right, your football club is not going to be maybe winning league titles or European cups. But if you, Roy, Nicky Butt, all the real characters you had at a football club were in a situation where you were here now, you wouldn't go and drop your performance as low as that. We've been there with Hicks and Gillette when things were good. These different managers coming in, and you've got Alex Ferguson, that one man. You're winning all the time. But it never got that bad. So when you're talking about this structure of the club, I'm not saying the players are getting away with it because we're very critical of them, but that is still... That can't be. It doesn't matter who the manager is, it doesn't matter who the owner is. For those players to come to Anfield tonight, when you're actually still fighting for top four, and never mind fighting for top four, trying to stop Liverpool winning 4 trophies. If I went to Old Trafford, that'd be as big as me getting in the top 4. We can't let these win the league, or you can't even in the Champions League, whatever it must be.
You mentioned characters, Jamie. They haven't got them.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So forget the structure at the top or the manager. What about those as players, as people?
That's why, I mean, I aired on the unprofessional side in commentary tonight when I said that the kid, to be fair, I was proud of him, because he's going round, to be fair, trying to top people and trying to kick people. But he demonstrated something. He showed us something. That he didn't like the idea of Liverpool at Anfield, passing it around him, the idea of Liverpool taking the mickey out of him, taking the mickey out of his teammates. At least he demonstrated something. Now, I'm not saying that it was brilliant, the fact that he was kicking Liverpool players and could have hurt one of them, but I tell you what, as a Manchester United fan, I think they can respond to that at least. The rest of them tonight, I mean, like I said, there's some lads out there that are probably really good lads, good professionals, got a good careers, have good talent, but they've broken.
Why though?
I have no idea. They're broken.
Players or
they're
broken.
Lads? They're broken. Jamie, they've proven that they're half-decent players over a few years. Fernandes is an half-decent, you know, he's a good player. There's some decent players out there. They've got talent. They've played at good levels. And they're broken. They're finished and they're done this season.
You talk about the leadership, Gary, but Jamie, the leadership is like 5 or 6 of these lads' contracts were up. All that chaos in the background. Again, there's lads coming on tonight. They are definitely leaving the club and they're coming on. You know, Lingard. You got Sancho on the bench. Pogba's going to be leaving, and you're playing these lads. Matic said during the week, I don't know why he even said it. He says, "I'm leaving in the summer." Well, if you were, we'll wait till the summer. Why are you getting all these messages out there? So that's all part, I think, the chaos.
The mess.
It's a direct comparison with Liverpool and Man United for me. In the last 10 years, Liverpool have been the best in the recruitment. That's the number one thing you have to get right at a football club, your recruitment. Liverpool have been off the charts with it. Man United have been, all the top clubs, top 6 clubs, have been by far the worst. I mean, to emphasise that point, you know, I said earlier before you guys came on, you got the starting 22 players, pick 11 from those 22. I can't get a Man United player into that first 11. And that's how far Man United have dropped off, when the worst case scenario for you guys is Liverpool have gone that way in recruitment. And we talk about structures, but if you get your recruitment right, it can cover issues that people may have with the way the club is run at the director level. I personally, know you do, I can't personally put too much blame attached to the Glaziers, other than other than them allowing people who weren't qualified and obviously weren't good enough to make football decisions.
Graham.
In terms of the funding, you cannot be critical of them.
Graham, seriously. No owners of any business, good business in the world, when the core activity of that business is failing and the cash reserves have been drained over the last 3 years through COVID, continue to take money out of a business. No, Graeme, let me finish, please. No,
it's a business.
No, hang on, Graeme. No shareholders and directors and owners of a good business, when the business is failing in its core activity, the cash reserves are being drained, there is investment required of hundreds of millions into the stadium and the training ground,
and
continue to take money out of the business. They can't do it. Coming back to the recruitment side, what the club have done over the last 10 years, I think Jürgen Klopp apparently had an interview or a conversation with Manchester United sometime. He called it Disneyland when he spoke to Ed Woodward. What Manchester United have done is brought players in with piano introductions like Sanchez or Pogba and all the big palaver around him, the Cristiano one that started. They've elevated the player above the manager at the football club as well. You go to Liverpool, you go to Chelsea, you go to Manchester City, the manager is the primary figure at the football club. They've undermined managers over the last 10 years at Manchester United by basically elevating the players into this sort of godlike status, and the players haven't performed. So my view is at this moment in time, there are a lot of things that, to be fair, the players could do better. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the start of the season could have done better. Ralf Rangnick maybe could have done better. But fundamentally, the club is broken on and off the pitch. The stadium's falling apart. The training ground's now falling back to second rate compared to the training grounds. The owners are taking 25 million quid a year out of the club, when actually the club needs investment and sets the culture badly from the top.
So do you think it's unmanageable? No matter who you bring in, can't change that?
Jamie, one thing I'll guarantee you, Manchester United will be back and they'll be successful, because the world is round and they're too big and they're a great club. So I've got no faith, I've got no worries about the long term. 10 years, might be 5 years, might be 15 years. Just as I never had any doubts that Liverpool would come back one day when I was to
be fair play. They'll come back, but in terms of Ten Hag coming in, he's the one who's going to come in
I feel sorry for him.
We'll come back to Ten Hag and we'll look ahead to the new Manchester United manager, as it looks like Erik Ten Hag will be, after we've heard from the current incumbent Ralf Rangnick with Patrick Davison.
Well, Ralf, from Liverpool, very good, but if we're honest, from Manchester United, quite poor, quite bad.
Yeah, especially the first half. We were just not up to it. We decided for an additional central defender because most of our natural ball winners were injured and not available. But the first goal after 6 minutes, I don't know, that was not part of the game plan to be that high up and to try to press high up and then concede a transitional moment after 6 minutes. That was not part of the game plan, obviously.
How does that happen then with 5 defenders and 4 midfielders? How do you get caught that easily?
Because we had all the players at the halfway line and then they were at their very best. That's one of the best counter-attacking teams in the league, but you could see it. Our left side was completely open. And then in the end, it was an easy tap-in after 5 seconds after they had played the ball from the back. But anyway, in the first half, we were just nowhere, second best. We had a backline of 5. We could also have had a backline of 6 or 7. If you don't try to win second balls first, not even to speak of first balls, but second balls, we were second best in all relevant areas of the first half, and yeah, that was just not good enough. Second half, I thought the first 25 minutes were better. We had 2 or 3 moments. The game was open in those 25 minutes, but then again, we are not good enough to get points in a game like against Liverpool.
So Manchester United fans can probably accept, to an extent, not being as good as Liverpool, but not being up for it, not trying for second balls. How can that ever happen?
Yeah, I mean, they are one of the best, if not the best teams in the world right now, and we are far away from that. We have to be honest. We are just not physical enough. We are not, as I said, physical, athletic enough. Against a team like this, if you want to have a chance, you have to cause them problems. You have to make use of those few counter-attacking moments yourself, but we couldn't. And that's why we lost 4-0.
When you're saying not physical enough, not athletic enough, is it too simple to say like the players are not trying hard enough?
Well, I'm pretty sure that any of the players who were in the starting 11 knew about the importance of that game, not only with regard to the league and the table, but also with regard to our fans and supporters. But yeah, as I said, in order to be able to get something out of a game like this, you have to be on, not only online, but on them. You have to attack them and cause them problems. And this, in the first half, we didn't do that at all. In the second half, we did it for 25 minutes, but that's not enough.
A lot of bad decisions over very many years.
I don't know. I know that they made a lot of good decisions, obviously, quite obviously. They're still in the race for 4 titles, and I would be surprised if they wouldn't win quite a few more, apart from the Carragher Cup. But yeah, we are not in that area right now. We just have to admit that. And but still, we have another 5 games to play, and now the focus has to be on the game on Saturday at Arsenal.
You know very well how to build a club. How long will it take? How many windows? How many players to bridge the gap you saw tonight?
Liverpool only needed 2 or 3 transfer windows until they had a competitive team, and yeah, if you know what you're looking for, it doesn't have to take 4 or 5 years. I mean, they did it when Jürgen came. They finished 8th in the first season and had a point average of 1.6. But yeah, you have to do it, and you have to start. And I think here in our club, it has to start this summer.
Thank you. Thanks, Ralf.
It has to, and we understand that there will be a managerial announcement this week, and that's what he will be dealing with, the fact that Manchester United have their lowest points total after 33 Premier League games, which isn't a huge platform to build up if they're going to be on course for their lowest ever points total in a Premier League season.
Honestly, but the desperation to get Ten Hag out there is just purely to take the heat off what's happening at the club, because the fans are protesting, the fans are up in arms about the performances, they can't believe what's going on, they're out of every single competition. So that desperation to get the manager out there is twofold. One, because I think they need to put a manager in place, but secondly, they can't wait to do it just so that they can throw the focus towards next season. It's the old political tactic.
But what does he need to do?
Well, the problem for a manager there, we mentioned Klopp and Pep and Tuchel. What you want is a manager, if you can, power and control at your club. He hasn't got any power, he's got no control. So it's so obvious what was going to happen when he came in. So whatever the new manager comes in, when it is announced, the club have got to back him. They've got to back him and give him that power and control, and have big decisions with the transfers. From what I hear over the last few years, there's people upstairs making the decisions on recruitment, and it's just backfiring all the time. The manager's got to have a big say.
Let's hear now from the man who has the power and control as the Liverpool manager, Jurgen Klopp, with Patrick Davison.
Well, Jürgen, if not all of it, did you love most of that?
I did, indeed. It is. I don't expect us to be for 95 minutes like completely in charge of the game. I think we were pretty much for 70 minutes completely in charge of the game, and 20 minutes we was not United in charge of the game, but it caused us a bit more problems. They changed obviously in half-time the formation. Maybe not 100% sure already the last few minutes before half-time, but then they changed, took Jones off and brought Sancho. So their high press was different, and our first situation was passing the balls 5-6 times around our 6-yard box and ended up with a corner for them, but of course not necessary. It's just okay. The first half we were really in charge of the game, and then you wish, of course, that we immediately pick up there and go from there, but it's 15 minutes break, and we needed another, I don't know, exactly 10-15 minutes to be ourselves again, and then we controlled the game again, scored wonderful goals, and won the game.
You predicted before the game that they would play 5 at the back. Were you able to exploit that in some of your early play, especially down your right-hand side?
Yeah.
You knew it was coming?
Well, that's a problem. I understand 100% the reason for it. When you see players available, stuff like this, it makes absolutely sense. The only problem is when you usually don't play it, then you have a problem. When you play against a team like us, who is pretty flexible offensively, who is pretty direct. After winning the ball, I thought our counter press today was really second to none. I can't remember better game. It's unbelievable how we won balls back. If you lose a ball against us at these moments, and then with the speed we have, with the desire the boys showed tonight, that's how we scored the first goal. And you need somebody who plays the pass. I think it was Sadio for Mo.
The second one?
The first one as well. I think Sadio for Mo, and then, if I'm right, and then Mo squares the ball. Luis in front of the goal alone. Great. And the second one was then Sadio for Mo. So a really good game, and wonderful goals, and so everybody is happy.
Thiago tonight?
Yeah. Not bad. It was good.
I was sat next to Canate, who just clapped him all night.
Yeah, I can imagine. So it was, he's a good player, a world-class player, no doubt about that. This is how it is. We just have to make sure that he is ready for as many games as possible, and that's what we try. When he feels the game, when he has rhythm, he can be pretty dangerous with and without the ball, because again, counter press, and he was leading that quite frequently. That was actually the best we showed tonight, and but apart from that, obviously, with the ball, it was not bad as well.
You said the other day that Sadio is now back to his absolute best. Mo Salah as well after tonight, and maybe what he did at the weekend as well.
Yeah, that's how it is. So it doesn't mean from now on they will fly through all the games, but it's just like this. There was a period where both felt the intensity of January. So that's how it is, and we cannot change that. But they're still outstanding for us, but not every 3 days. So that doesn't work, and we need that. If we have, I forgot always the number. I'm not sure how many games we now have left, or 9 or 10, something like that. And we play really. This is now, I think, the longest break we have between today and Everton. And from that moment on, it's just 3 days, 3 days, 3 days. So we have to make changes. We have to make sure that we can use fresh legs. Tonight Bobby was not involved because he got in the very last situation, the City game, he got something on his foot. It's not really bad.
Okay for the derby, or?
We hope so. Actually, the scan, we were a bit worried, but the scan was fine, but it's still very painful, and that's why we have to. There's no chance for today. So that's what we need. We need a full squad. That's how it is, and if we can use that, then obviously we can maybe cope with the intensity. Otherwise, we don't have a chance.
Your fans will never forget what you've done to Manchester United this season. I know perhaps doesn't mean as much to you. It's not your priority, but pleased to have given them that little bit of history, maybe.
And all fans are smart. They know that these things will not happen often, so it happened. That's how it is. United is not in a good moment. That's clear with all the injuries what they have and all these kind of things. But they will come back. Nobody has to worry about that. But anyhow, for our fans, obviously tonight was a big one, and they deserve each little bit of joy they can have. And tonight they had a lot, I'm pretty sure.
Proud of your fans tonight, the class they showed in the 7th minute, applauding.
Football should be all rivalry aside at this moment. There's only one thing important, and that was really a show of class, and of course, all our thoughts from the moment on when we heard about it were with Cristiano and his family, and I cannot even imagine how it must be, and we really feel for it.
Okay, let's leave it there. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was a really lovely moment, and of course our sentiments here echo those of the crowd here at Anfield this evening in support and best wishes to Cristiano Ronaldo and his family. The game itself then has a bearing on the title race as Liverpool go to the top of the table. Manchester City, of course, playing against Brighton tomorrow, so it could be a short-lived stay at the top of the table. But Liverpool now have 6 games and after every single one of them, we will be showing an updated version of this graphic, and we'll be asking you to try and work out who's going to drop points, if they are going to drop points, and where it's going to happen. You look at this run-in. What do you think right here, right now, Jamie?
I just look at the away games both teams have got, and the games that you'd expect them to win. But you just know, even at this stage, a draw is almost like the end of the world. You feel like the title had gone if someone draws a game. And the other type of games, maybe just after a Champions League semi-final. Liverpool have got sort of Newcastle at 12:30. I'm not sure what Man City's game is, but just maybe if the game catches up with you and you draw a game away 1-1, you can have games like that, even when you play well. You know, you're just unlucky, the goalkeeper has a good day. And I just look at the away games both teams have got, and I think that's where one of them could drop something, and that's all it could take. One team draw a game on the back of maybe a Champions League, just run out of steam, you get a player sent off, just something really little small. But I just look at the away games where I think someone will drop. I don't know who.
Can you call it?
No, it's impossible. Brighton, second best away record. Go to City tomorrow. City are a very special team. I think it's now impossible to look at any of those fixtures and say they're vulnerable there, or that's a guaranteed win. What we've got the most marvellous race on our hands. You know, they've put the ball back into City's court. They have to respond tomorrow, and that'll then go again. And all you can do, I think you asked this very early on tonight, all you can do when you're in this position is the next game, and get through without any injuries. As fabulous as Liverpool were tonight, they got a large slice of luck with Keita not getting sent off, because that might have impacted in the games coming up for another couple of midfield players were to get injured. But it's going to be a fabulous end to what's been a great season.
Roy, if you could be in either dressing room going into this run-in, whose would it be?
I still think City will edge it. That's my answer.
No, why do you think?
I just think they're good enough to win all their games. Simple as that. I think if they do slip up, there's a chance Liverpool might. Liverpool have obviously a lot of momentum, and Liverpool are fantastic. And I just think City will edge it. Simple as that.
Because they already have that point. That
advantage, of course.
Would you? Is there an element where was it 14 points Liverpool were adrift? So
and nobody's ever won the league from that
City
position.
were looking at that time. They'd never say it publicly. We've got this one. We just have to keep it going. We've got it won. But they've blown that lead. They've blown that to 13. Those 13 points have gone. So I still feel the momentum is very much for Liverpool. And all of a sudden they'll be angry. I've never actually been in that situation, but you'd be angry with yourself. Part of you would be angry with yourself because you've allowed that to slip.
Liverpool did have 2 games and had played.
Yeah.
Sorry, did have 2 games.
But you still have to win. You still have to win them.
You still have to win them. What do you think?
I think Liverpool, because of the momentum and the spirit and that City not having that striker, I think at some point could hurt them. I also think how City do in the Champions League will impact their league as well, just in terms. I think it's a big one for Pep Guardiola, the Champions League, and those players after what happened last year. But to be fair, Liverpool put City under unbelievable pressure a few seasons ago, and City withstood it, so they could withstand it again and prove us all wrong. But I just think Liverpool at this moment in time, the momentum seems to be with them.
And I'm sure next time we cover a live game involving Liverpool or City, it could all change again. And that is the beauty of this title race. Thank you very much to everybody for your company here in the studio. Let's take Sky Sports Premier League. I'd much rather stay at home and watch it on the telly, which we can all do. But tonight here at Anfield, Manchester United slipped in their bid to finish in the Champions League places. But for now, at least, Liverpool are back on top of the league.